Okay, 1, 2, ready. Welcome back to the Acoustic Shop. I am John. This is Jeremy. We are going to be talking about guitars today. Why? Because that's what we do.
Sometimes we do mandolins and banjos, but today we're going to do this guitar.
Yep, we're going to talk about this special Gallagher guitar. Gallagher Guitars are back, and this one is a Doc Watson model. We're going to talk all about it here right after this. Welcome back. We are going to be talking about Gallagher Guitars. Why? Because we are a Gallagher guitar dealer. That's
or, as you might call us, a Gallagher Guitar Getting Place. Where'd you get that guitar? At the Gallagher Guitar Getting Place? It's hard to say fast. But yeah, we are a dealer.
You can't just do that just because you want to.
That's what we do. We went to the NAMM show, Summer NAMM.
Right.
So something happened in 2020. They had a great NAMM show out in Anaheim, California in January of 2020. Everybody was so excited about the industry. It was the biggest show, their biggest attendance show ever. Most vendors, it was just huge.
Yep.
And then like 2 weeks later, the entire world shut down. They canceled the Summer NAMM because of COVID. Then they canceled the next January 2020.
Yeah, it was January
2021. They canceled that and had a summer show in Nashville, Tennessee in July of 2021. And
we were all wondering what was going to happen with that. And guess what? It actually turned out kind of cool. It was very small.
That was what I was leading to. Was because it was kind of a limited attendance on that one. A lot of vendors didn't make it because they just weren't sure what was going to happen with trade shows. But someone that did show up and got a lot of attention because they were there was Gallagher Guitar at the Gallagher Guitar Getting booth they had at the show. We went across and was like, we remember Gallagher. It's hard to say. I need to slow down a little bit. We remember the Gallagher Guitars.
I just want you to keep doing it. Keep going.
From Doc Watson made him really popular, right?
Yeah.
He was a Gallagher Guitar guitar endorsee.
I'm so glad you're doing that. Anyway, yes, Doc Watson, the Gallagher Guitars came out quite a few years ago. I believe it was the mid-'70s or earlier maybe. And we actually had the new owner of Gallagher here at the shop. We talked about that. There's
but we first met him, at the national show.
By the time you see this, will have come out as well. That is kind of, talk about the history of the guitars. We did a whole event where we went live and talked about stuff. And then, but at the show, the thing that I was most, that I knew of this guitar company the most was Doc Watson, who played Gallagher Guitars for a long time. And it was probably the most notable guitar player that they had on their roster. So when they did that, I put in an order at the NAMM show, said I want to see a Doc Watson model. And we've seen like 4 other guitars before we got to see our first Doc Watson model.
All have been excellent guitars, and they sold very quickly. I think like the first 2 weeks that we had each one of them, they were already sold because they are building a really good instrument. But we had been waiting for this one, the one that kind of piqued our interest originally and got us tuned into the new builds.
Yeah.
We had this one on order, and it finally arrived last week, right?
Correct. This is a standard Doc Watson model, not to be confused with their Doc Watson signature model, which has got some other variances on it as well. But what kind of stood out on the Doc Watson model was it's a mahogany back and sides guitar with herringbone trim. And those of you who know traditional guitar building know that usually herringbone was kind of reserved for the rosewood guitars, a little bit more of an upper end thing. Martin did it originally on the original rosewood dreadnoughts, took it away for a long time, and then brought it back in the HD28 or herringbone D28s. And anyway, a cool look. It is all, if you ever look closely at herringbone binding, it is a wood herringbone pattern, usually with maple and ebony cut in small little slivers to create this herringbone shaped pattern. And you can see that in here. What's cool about this one is a very fine herringbone and what they had done on the original Doc Watson. So anyway, mahogany traditionally was tortoiseshell or black binding, and that was very plain and very simple. the Doc Watson model that was built for him had herringbone, white binding, or ivory binding, which is what this guitar has. You will see the not just herringbone, but white binding, the zigzag pattern stripe with my dust that I put all over this mahogany. It's a different look for what mahogany normally does, but I really love it. I've actually got a couple of guitars that are like this. Santa Cruz made one for a while called the Vintage D, which I have, that is very Doc Watson-like. In fact, that was originally designed as a Doc Watson model. Also, these have a bound fretboard and a bound peg head. Again, it's like an upgraded Martin D18 style guitar, just in Gallagher's own voicing and sound.
Do the shoulders slope a little bit more on this one? And then
I think it's a standard. I believe that their pattern is pretty close to a standard squared shoulder. It is rounded, but there is a little bit of variance in everybody's molds, just a little bit. It's still a square shoulder dread, but yes, I can see where you see a little bit there, more more of a rounded shape to that upper shoulder. Gallagher Guitars had this really cool deal because they sounded great. They came in an era where a lot of guitar companies were not doing the best guitars that they had built. The big companies, Gibson and Martin and those, were building so many guitars that quality control suffered. And it opened the door for some great companies such as Gallagher, Guild came in there. I'm trying to think of the one out of Winfield, Kansas right now, and I cannot think of their name. But also fabulous Mossman Guitars, that's what it was. Mossman Guitars.
Don't yell at people.
I'm going to yell at them. That kind of brought back new small builders to a new audience, and Gallagher was one of them.
Kind of left an opening there.
That's why Doc, I think, got involved with them, built great guitars, had continued to build them in very, very small numbers, and kind of went through a lot of changes. But just a couple of years ago, they went through a major change, and now they are being built again on a regular basis with a very fine team of high-quality craftsmen, building some new models as well as old models. And this, if you were going to get one, though, to me, I think the Doc Watson is one of those just like...
It's iconic.
That's it. You know, I even have a copy, we discussed this at the event. I've got a Japanese copy of this guitar.
Kind of a lawsuit version.
It is a lawsuit guitar. It was done by a company called Aria, and they even kind of copied the Gallagher logo, made it sort of like an A/G looking thing, but it was a copy of this exact same guitar. If you were to see a Gallagher guitar, this is probably the model that you would see the most, and one that I was really excited to get in here. So I do believe we're going to see a whole bunch more of the Gallagher guitars. I will go through the feature specs on this real quick on this. It is a Sitka spruce top, mahogany back and sides. Again, herringbone trim with the white ivory binding on this particular one, ebony bridge and fretboard, bound all the way through. Nice tuners. Gallagher has a really cool, warm, but yet modern tone. It's a little bit darker than some of the brighter, more modern sustaining guitars. So it's got a little bit more guts and a little bit more depth to it. I do think it's a really cool option.
It's a little bit more of a satin type neck on this.
The
too,
neck
right?
is
sateen.
a new finish that they're using, a very, very soft feeling, quick feeling neck. Again, you guys know that my personal preferences, I like the gloss necks, but I know I am way outnumbered by a majority of you guitar players out there who love the satin or speed necks. This is a really good compromise because it has a finish to it. You can definitely feel it. It's very smooth, but very silky and very quick feeling. So again, a really kind of cool thing to add. The Gallagher swoosh, as I like to call it, or they call it a French curve. I learned that while he was here. So anyway,
I had a haircut like that once.
Did you really?
The French curve.
All right, very cool.
When I had hair.
Anyway, these are great guitars, and we're definitely going to see a lot of them, like I said, in the shop. Keep looking for them because they're going to disappear really fast. So look for that. And what we're going to do right now, a little tone sample so you can hear what it sounds like.
And we really appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one. And it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.